first match, a slightly different version that did well over the past weekend. 4 lands, can't keep. This hand's perfectly fine. The outlier is Skewer, I guess. So, apologies for the racetrack, but the apparently there's some issues with MTGO with the new update that's using too much CPU, and my computer is not liking that very much. So it's kind of going jet engine mode here. Alright, Sator's Proving Ground. So 4-color bull crap. Some type of 4 or 5-color pile. Don't know if it's Omnath pile, don't know Omnath bean, don't know if it's 5-color rhinos maybe. Opponent has access to landline binding here. So attack, see what they do. All we've seen so far is a bunch of friggin' lands. Landline binding it is. Yep. So we don't want to suspend Riftbolt into a Teferi. So we're gonna play Roiling Vortex. Oh, this is supremely annoying. Untap land, play Teferi, bounce Roiling Vortex. Yeah, not a huge fan of this update. Shocker. Yep. Vortex. Pass. It goes to 11. Still don't know what they're playing. Still could be Rhinos or Omnath. I'm leaning more towards Omnath. Of course, the version we're playing this time has no Firecrafts, so go figure. Shock it up, shock it in, let me begin. You're really going to cast an Omnath here? Nope. Prismatic Ending for nope. Okay, I don't get why you did that, but that's okay. Shouldn't have done that. Because if they have Omnath, we just basically threw the game. Sure. And we basically have to throw the book at them. Hope they don't have Force of Negation or anything. And they don't. So I'm still going to presume Omnath Bean Pile, for lack of a better. And we literally don't have a single card we want to bring in. Drifting Palm, no. Path, no. Smash, maybe. Just click submit. Okay, I mean, this hand is okay. Not super exciting, but... Do need to draw lands, though. One of the few nice things about these Omnath decks is most of them don't play very many counterspells. Like, they run Force of Negation, sometimes Commandeer, debating if they want to shock in. Chalice on one? No, Beanstalk, sure. Okay, just play main phase Boros Charm. Okay. That's a interesting card to Force of Negation. What on earth is this? Oh, okay, sure. Two Solitudes going to the bottom. They get a Beanstalk. Okay, at least we know what deck they are now. Woof. That is why you save Fortification. Yikes. That's a desperation sign if I've ever seen one. You know what? No. We want to throw a Boros Charm at their face. So the reason we don't want to do that is if they do have Commandeer, we really don't want them to Commandeer Lightning Helix. And another Desperation Leyline Binding. Oh. That was a weird match. Alright, match 2 of Run Robot Burn, because my computer is really not liking Moto tonight. So apologies for that. So I have not been working on my own lists the last couple of videos. The first video was the list that did well, or last week's video was the list that did well, winning both challenges, I believe, or two of the four challenges this weekend, past weekend. And then this is the 10th place list from it. So we are up against, looks like Yawgmoth perhaps. Nope, Hardened Scales. Okay. So Scales is very tricky matchup. Historically, I've never really liked Burn's position in this matchup, although it is winnable. Hangerback Walker, sure. With a Hangerback Walker. Nope, Patchwork Automaton. So we're kind of left in a weird spot because we really want to suspend these Rift Bolts, but we also want to maximize our creature damage here, so opponent does not bark. Sure. This will be the last damage we got through with creatures, so now we have to hope and kill our enemy before they go kind of nuts here. Nice part is we do have a lot of cards for the matchups. Okay. It's got a big dumb idiot. Do they swing with it? Just a swinging. Just a swinging. Alright. Rift Bolt. To the face. Could have possibly left ourselves dead there, so it's possible I was supposed to play back and play a longer game. But if they find Ravager at any point here, we're just dead anyway, so oh, Ballista, we are definitely dead. 4 mana, Ballista for 3. Point gains, goes to 9, this comes in. So that would go to 12. They might be 1 short here, or are they attacking with everything? Dead exact. Wait, what? Excuse me? Excuse me? Miss Lethal says what? Whoopsie. Okay, well, let's not look the gift horse in the mouth, I suppose. Boom. 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 Yo. Okay, Stern Bridge, Path of Exile, Smash to Smithereens, Deflecting Palm, Whirling Vortex is trash. Searing Blood just isn't consistently killing things. Skull Crack's a maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of maybes here. Alright, we'll try. Yep. His hand takes a lot of damage, but is pretty good in the matchup. These are the kind of hands why I don't like Fire Island, just so we're clear. Normally when I'm building my own list, I place a Kenzin because I don't like taking this much damage from my lands. Turn 1 Ozolith. Hardened Scales, sorry. One of the few nice things about this deck is it does take a turn to set up, so you're usually guaranteed to get in at least one shot with Goblin God. One shot. One opportunity. Zabaz. Okay. Why didn't you activate Ink Moth Nexus? Seems like a modular. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. Good no attack with GG here. See if they double block. Which I'm more than fine with them doing. Yep, less material for Ravager, the better. Opponents made a number of play mistakes this league, or this match, so do not mistake this for normal thoroughfare for the matchup. Pass. They may win anyway because I got a little too hasty with cards, especially if they have Shadow Spear in their list. They do not. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. So many mistakes, yet they win anyway. To be fair, I screwed up when I used the Smash to Smithereens as aggressively as I did. This hand's a trap. This hand's fine. Like deflecting palm for now. It's a trap. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really need to find a land, yes we do. Try to land this bridge. Da, 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 da. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's terrifyingly annoying. Equip, swing through. Yep. Sure. Come on, Dick, give me a land. It's a land, not a freaking Swift Spear. Mm-hmm. Because now they're going to win the game regardless. So, despite them throwing away game one, alright, that was fun. Alright, notch 3 on the draw. This hand is fine, if a bit awkward sequencing wise. So, once again, apologize for the race car in the background, which is my computer. Unfortunately, there was a new patch that came out on MTGO that apparently causes the CPU to use way too much than it should. So, fortunately, we have the race car. Opponent kept on 6. Your match, perhaps? Use the mirror match creativity. There aren't too many decks that use Arid Mesa. Nope. Instead, we get stuck against Hammer. Alright. Apparently, this is the Modern Matchups Burn loses to Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. 1, sure. Mm-hmm. What do they grab? Reveals Colossus Hammer. Sure. Mm-hmm. Spend Riftbolt pass. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. Nope. Mm-mm. You have Solitude, you win. If not, then you just lose. So I'm not bothering to play around it because I'm not surviving through the next turn. So all right. Sometimes you gotta get the nut draw to win. All right. So a lot of the same cards. Searing Blaze is a little bit better in this matchup. Rolling Vortex is trash. Boros Charm is middling. It does have protection from red stuff, so that's a thing. Skull Crack has applications, but is somewhat middling sometimes. Riftbolt is fine. Alright, try out that. Sanctifier, not the matchup. Vortex doesn't really do anything. Boros Charm, good burn spell, doesn't interact with the board. These three are all potentially kind of middling cards. Searing Blood is one of the worst cards, but still kills quite a bit of things. Trying, I guess. Shock it up, shock it in. Mm-hmm. Esper Sentinel bullcrap again. Nope, Giver of Runes. So, Giver of Runes is dying. Pass. Come on, give me land, please. Yep. Yep. Come on, give me a land. There we go. I'm gonna grab the reality chip, which that's definitely a bizarre one. Mismatch lands continue. Turn pass. There you go. We do end step bullcrap. We just go ahead and Opponent's not going to decide if they make a construct or do they use the mana for something else. Apparently they decide to use the mana for something else here. Yeah, we can't afford to have them get Shadow Spear equipped on something that quickly. Okay. So, what you trying to cast? Mm-hmm. Come on, deck, give me something here. Alright, that's a solid card to find. Not gonna play Bridge here, both because we potentially have lethal next turn and Ensnaring Bridge could get hit by Spell Pierce. So I really want them to tap low for something. Yeah, that's a Stoneforge Mystic. Getting Shadow Spear. So we're going to go ahead and try to bait them with Helix here. Spell Pierce. Mm-hmm. Nope, 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 nope. Nice try, though. Okay, nice one there. Alright, match 4. On to play this round, which is nice. So hand isn't ideal, but it does have a pretty good start to it. So the main problem with it is the third land sometimes can be an issue, but Swift Spear into Rolling Vortex or Swift Spear into Bolt plus another drawn spell. This is a pretty good opener. It just has the potential to fizzle out, especially if the Swift Spear dies, because we only have like 6 points of actual burn. One thing I've heard somewhat stated is that Burn is a combo deck. Now, Burn, it's an aggressive deck, don't get me wrong, but it is a raw resource deck. Unlike, or say a deck like Storm, which requires anywhere between 10 to 15 spells to win a game, depending on if they're trying to win with Grape Shot or any of that kind of stuff. So mulliganing. Oh, hello. Mill. Okay, sure. Swift Spear. So if our opponent ever casts an Archive Trap, they're taking a bunch of damage, which I'm fine with. At least I'm mostly sure this is Mill. Yeah, almost 100% sure this is Mill now. Playing this first. So the reason I did it in that order is if our opponent decides they want to use Archive Trap, they basically are going to kill themselves. I'm gonna guess. Sure. Alright. Turn 3 win. Vortex. Kind of middling, but in that particular case was pretty good. Let me look at recent mill lists. Archive Trap. Dimir Mill. Crypt Incursion. Bolt of the Red Sub. Ensnaring Bridge. Crypt Incursion. Snaring Bridge. Bolt of the Red Sub. Crypt Incursion. Go for the Throat. Snaring Bridges. Okay, so we don't want our own bridges. We could potentially use Smash, but I think we literally just click Submit. Searing Blaze has some legitimate targets in their deck. We don't have to crack a fetch land with this hand if we don't want to, although the third land, once again, kind of middling. We're definitely keeping. It goes turn 1, fetch land, crab. Yep. Alright. Fetch lands are not ideal in this matchup, obviously. They're one of the few matchups that actually punishes you for having fetch lands, so. That said, they do also run some number of Field of Ruins, so sometimes they can actually force you to crack a lack of fetch. Don't know why they didn't fetch on end step. Unless they kept a one-lander by chance. I still think they should have fetched a... They're giving up a point of damage potentially, but I'm not counting on this living next turn, so... Biggest problem I have right now is that we're running out of gas. We started with 3 lands and drew 2 lands. So... Opponent with a very awkward mana start for them. Like, I don't know why they didn't fetch this one earlier. Certainly a match we can lose, but generally speaking, I'd rather be on the burn side in this matchup. Like, the one thing working against us is our low mana count, means Tasha's actually connects for quite a bit of library damage. And the fact that this Searing Blaze basically became a mulligan really didn't help. Feels like they have an archive trap and they're just like super paranoid that we might get a Say what? Okay, sure. Oh. You know what I wanted on my wish list? Yet another fetch land. Exactly what I wanted to draw. You got Tasha's? Crypt Incursion would be pretty nice too. For them, that is, not for us. Looks like Crypt Incursion. Or is this Tasha's? Yeah, that's a Crypt Incursion. I mean, we'll keep playing, but it's basically over. Is there any lands left to fetch? This is Tasha's. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and concede here. Awkward sequencing, but we drew all lands, so didn't really matter. Guess I'd like to play first. Sounds decent. Don't really care about taking damage from our own Roiling Vortex. I mean, we do. Obviously, their damage is all via. Okay, that's fine. It's gonna have lots of crabs. Come on. Block or don't block. Sure, I'm fine with that. There's a crab with the fetch land. Well, hello there. Yes, I know what I'm risking, but at the moment I don't particularly care. Okay. Toshes, sure. Toshes, sure. It's doing some math. It's a little bit of a risk, obviously, to take down our anti-life gain shield, but I think I need to prioritize trying to kill them. So if they drew another archive trap, they go to 1. And then if they don't have Crypt Incursion, or don't draw Crypt Incursion, they die in our upkeep before... I guess that Drown Lock would also potentially save them. So... So... 1, 2. Okay. Okay. And you die. Oops. Question mark? Okay. Yeah, sure. Rolling Vortex, good in the matchup I didn't think it was good in. Alright, match 5. play, which is nice. And it has a companion, so please proceed. So, companions don't tell us as much as they used to, like obviously Luris, Urion. The only ones that really see play now are Gigantha, Obosh, and Karuga to a certain degree. Gigantha is a variety of decks it can be. Karuga usually indicates some style of control deck. And then Obosh usually is some type of weird Hayashi brew usually. Either mono red or mono black. So kind of hard to take too much from them having a companion, but the only reason I know it's a companion is because the order of play draw, yes, okay, waiting for my opponent, because neither one of us have mulliganed, so this isn't a matter of which hand you wish to keep. This is you have to reveal your companion before the match starts. Little things that you may not, if you don't play a bunch of Magic Online, you may not realize. It's like, there are a couple tells with both programs that make it not quite as good as real life in terms of, playing. Magic Online has, some of the tapping can be awkward. You can't demonstrate an infinite loop. Etc. There are a few other things, in the chess clock thing, which is fine. I generally don't time out because I play decks that tend to go pretty quickly. Arena has the issue of the stick, which basically means if your opponent has a play or something they can activate, there's going to be this kind of like gap in like time, so you can kind of like get a little bit of knowledge about what's going on with your opponent. Or, sometimes on Arena you can, like, play a lesser spell, see if there's, like, a counter spell in the waiting, and then you can play a bigger spell. There are little things, I don't want to call them exploits, but there are little loopholes in the different programs that you can learn to kind of use to expedite your gameplay or to pick up some little hints here and there. Just want to make sure I'm not the one disconnecting, so. But it's been an interesting league so far. We ran into two I would consider bad matchups for Burn, that being Hammer and Hardened Scales, and then we ran into two what I would consider among Burn's overall better matchups in the meta, in Mill and Omnath Bean. Mill has always been, it's been a weird dichotomy. Like, Burn is good against a good portion of the field, or was good against a good portion of the field, but could sometimes struggle against like the slower, like methodical decks sometimes. Like Control could sometimes be difficult, depending on the builds, obviously. Blue-eye Control is always pretty reasonable for Burn. But Mill has always kind of preyed on like the mid-range and slower, or kind of the combo matchups. Maybe some of the matchups Burn struggles against. Decks like Amulet Titan, decks like, not Tron. Burn has a pretty decent Tron matchup. But there's kind of this weird overlap with the two, where one is trying to burn out your life total, one's trying to burn out your library. And Mill has gotten a little bit worse in the meta because of the presence of Eldrazi's and so many other things. And I do think it has, if I'm not mistaken, it does not have a particularly good scan matchup, so that's part of the reason it's disappeared even more than normal. But still, Burn has a pretty good mill matchup, so I was kind of happy to see that. Although, as you can see, you can certainly lose games, and you can lose games to Tron as well. But it's one of the weird things. Like when I was playing Paper Magic at my old LGS, shout out to ICG Games and Sharon, PA. They, even with Tron, I would sometimes beat up on the Burn players in the meta. Because the two paper decks I had, or currently have, are Boros Burn and Mono Green Tron. I used to have Visit Phoenix before, Faithless Looting got banned, and then I had Ban Eldrazi, but that deck's kind of been, obviously obsolete for quite a while. But with Tron, you had, even with the older versions of Tron without the One Ring, you had like certain draws of, turn 3 Karn the Grey Creator Trinisphere, or turn 3 Worm Coil Engine, or turn 3 Karn Liberated, turn 4 Ulamog, destroy all your opponent's lands. There were certain play patterns that you could play and still beat Burn, even though Burn has very positive mill and very positive Tron matchups. Omnath Pile, a little bit newer to the meta, obviously, in the last couple of years, so I haven't played against much of it in paper, but, just Omnath is the key to the matchup, and if they don't land Omnath into fetch land, then they just get smacked. And then the fact that a lot of the times now, turn 2 they might interact, turn 3 they're cascading into Bean, and that's, well, it's important for their Fury, Solitude, whatever game plan. They don't really play a lot of on the stack interaction, which is what made blue-white control, Jescott control, especially in the older days with like Snapcaster Mages and Spell Lightning Helixes. It's a lot of what made those decks a good bit more challenging was the fact that they could interact on the stack. And right now, the Omnath decks are basically glorified go-over-the-top mid-range decks. It's kind of like Battle Cruiser Magic. You've got Scam, then you've got maybe Murktide a little bit bigger than that, then you have decks like Yawgmoth, then you have decks like Omnath Bean, then you have Tron. But like, with the exception of Rhinos and Murktide, really there's almost no like true counter magic in the format right now. So, and my opponent lost a game in action, so we got the 4-1. Not sure what to make of that. This list, takeaways, I'm interested in testing Ensnaring Bridge more. I don't know how it is in the Scam matchup, but it feels reasonable against Hammer and Scales and Amulet Titan to a certain degree, although they're usually playing some of their Beseiju, so that doesn't necessarily buy you all the time in the world. Certainly it's not foolproof, especially with, I guess, the Soul Cauldron for walking Ballista out of the Hardened Scales deck, but quick 4-1 was quite nice tonight. This list is solid. I do think I would probably trim the 2 Searing Bloods and probably get 2 copies at least of Exquisite Firecraft in my 75. Once again, not a huge fan of this Fiery Islet. I usually play Sekenzin if I was making my own list. I do like the split on the spells, 2 Helix, 2 Skullcrack. Of course, we don't run into the Burn Mirror when I have Helix back in my main deck and cards I could actually board Rolling Vortex out, but I digress. Solid 4-1, well, solid 3-1 with a opponent not showing. If you like Burn content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you for next week's video.